This is from NFL.com. One thing to watch for every team in the preseason week 3. Cleveland needs more answers at wide receiver. How good can Donovan Peoples-Jones be? Will David Bell start cooking after a promising preseason debut? Is Anthony Schwartz past his struggles? What's in store for Demetric Felton, Mike Woods, Mike Harley Jr.? Do they have a place on this squad? And the other thing I would say about the wide receiver group, you're more concerned about it because it's going to be Jacoby Brissett for the first 11 games. And it's nothing against Jacoby Brissett, but it's not an elite quarterback like Deshaun Watson. I think they were counting on Watson to elevate some of these guys.
Yeah, and from what we've seen from Jacoby Brissett, he's not a guy who's going to elevate talent. I feel like all of our our viewers here could have written that segment for NFL.com. There, it's a pretty easy one. It's an obvious sore thumb in Cleveland. I am optimistic on David Bell. I think he's going to be a perfectly fine slot receiver. I think he's going to have some chemistry with Jacoby Brissett that carries over once Deshaun is back in the lineup. I like what David Bell does. Is he topped out athletically a little bit? Yeah, a little bit. But I watched him play at Purdue. I saw him do things that you wouldn't expect a slot receiver at Purdue to do. And I think that translates I think what he did at Purdue translates well to the NFL. So I'm not too worried about that. Donovan Peoples-Jones, Anthony Schwartz, that's where the alarm bells go off. Look, I have defended Anthony Schwartz several times on this show, among others. He's got to get better quickly, and it just hasn't happened yet, and it's frustrating to see because he does have the physical potential to do it. And then you look around the league and you see other teams bringing in, the raw speedster types, and then they thrive right away. You saw Devin Allen with the Eagles do it. Like, why can't that happen for Schwartz? And it hasn't just clicked yet, and that is a worry. It's certainly something that we would like to see better play. And, obviously you lean on the run game. That's got to be the plan. You throw to your running backs, which is something that Brissett does well. You have David Njoku. You paid him all that money. Let's utilize him, get some return on investment there with your prime tight end. But, yeah, wide receiver is honestly that and center are probably the only questions I have about the offense. I feel really, really good about the rest of that offense, and not just like the starters, but I think the depth is solid. But look at that wide receiver spot, and you're just you're hopeful that things go better quickly because we haven't seen it yet.
It looks like Felton has become the default slot receiver because Bell was injured, so that battle's going on. But when Alex Van Pelt was talking, he mentioned Felton. They like what they've seen of him in the slot. Can Felton or Harley fill a role? And you're not the thing that, and we talked about this last segment with Scott Petrak. They're not going to give up on Schwartz because the talent and the skill set is too intriguing. But you can't count on him, so you kind of have pushed him back to the back of the pack a little bit.
Yeah, and you almost wish that you could get like a little bit of a medical red shirt on. Not wishing injury on him, but he kind of needs to. I don't think the mental game is there with him yet, and maybe that will click with increased coaching. Maybe as he gets more reps in practices and as he gets more comfortable catching passes from Jacoby Brissett, we'll see. Harley's interesting to me. I didn't think a lot of him coming into camp, and now I'm intrigued by what he's got. Felton has always straddled that line between, is he a running back, is he a wide receiver, is he a return specialist, is he some weird amalgamation of all three? They clearly don't need him at running back. They might as well try him in the slot and as like a jet sweep gadget play type wide receiver. He does have that potential. He did that at UCLA. So I feel decent about his chances. But again, that's a role where you're getting, 30 to 35 passes a season, maybe 15 to 20 runs a season. It's not a meaty role, but I'm comfortable with him being in it. But that's, again, it's definitely a concern. And I can't reiterate how much I like Amari Cooper and how promising I think that David Bell is. And I think that we're jumping off the 480 bridge a little bit too early with the wide receivers. But it's certainly there's valid concern, but it's not time to panic just yet.